Good morning, everybody. It is a new week, and we are looking at the XRP chart here on the 5-minute. The reason I'm starting zoomed in here to a very low time frame is I just want you to see the absolute brutal nature of how these bot algorithms just absolutely demoralize trading. If you notice, starting yesterday at about, what was that, noon? We started having just over and over 1, 2, 1, 2, this zigzag from hell. And then you had this final move here. We thought we were getting the breakout, but it front ran 333 and is now just in the process of collapsing. And what would have given you that indication that this was yet again another corrective wave structure is, first of all, drawing the fib targets and seeing that we only captured the 1.113. We didn't capture the 1272, which is usually a bull trigger for the bots. And now we're just in the process of, I think, putting in another, probably a C wave here. This is a larger A, B, and now we're putting in our C to probably retest $3, 305. One more time, probably this 236 fib level. And then hopefully we hold that, and then we're off to the races. So that's just some intraday thoughts as to where I think price is going. I'm going to just go ahead and address it now. I'm noticing more and more comments that are upset with my current views or just questioning some of my views on, XRP only going to $6 to $8, and then how does that line up with me viewing Stellar still on track to go to $4? And wouldn't that be a similar market cap to XRP? Those are, I don't mind legitimate questions, guys. All we are trying to do is best guess where price is going. If anyone tells you they're certain on where price is going or they've got certain price targets, then they're either ignorant or they're lying. All we can do is look at the data as the market gives it to us. And so, that's why I'm sharing the views that I'm sharing, and I'm always going to be honest with you. I'm not going to, smoke or puff hopium smoke up your rear end. I'm going to tell you how I'm seeing things. And, right now, as we come out to the hourly on XRP, we didn't capture the 1272. So this most likely is a ABC correction. So you had your A wave here, you have your B wave here. And now either we're putting in a C wave internally, or we could come down to 280s before the C leg is done, 285, somewhere in that area. So that's what I'm seeing currently. That might not be fun, but that's where we're at. I would hope that we would hold internal here and that this would be our final corrective move. And then we can start to build momentum and blast out of here and be well on our way. As I come back to the daily, I've told you on several occasions when we come back here to this, I've never liked this as a wave one, back here in July, June of last year, before we had the pump in November. A lot of Elliott Wave chartists are calling this your one wave. And then this was 2, this is 3, this was 4, and we have our ending 5th of the 5th right now. I've told you before that I don't like that count. But I'm looking at this intermediate move here, and I'm looking at the smaller wave count from here, and this struck perfectly what typical Elliott Wave 3s strike, the 1886. I can draw a fib and show you that here in a second. So that's why I'm sharing those views. Also, because of this is a deviation from the breakout we had here in November. Look at the parabolic nature of the November breakout versus this so far. We've gotten this, what I would argue, is a intermediate pullback that doesn't look the greatest. again, the reasoning for that is we didn't even wick the 113 here. We front ran it. So to me, that's not bullish. It's not as bullish as I would have hoped to have been. Bullish would have been, okay, give me that 11 to 13% pullback once we hit 416. Then maybe retest the old all-time high breakout and then go. But what we did is we, flea dicked a few cents over the old all-time high, and now we came back below it, and now it looks like we're putting in yet a final corrective wave. And oh yeah, by the way, on the small time frame, we wicked the 113, and look at how we're still rolling over. But we didn't even wick the 113 here. So I'm just sharing with you what I've learned over years of watching this price action. It's XRP, and you take what the market gives you and you get profit. I mean, I don't know about you, but I made $36,000 of profit here. And now I'm ready to reload and, make another trade and hopefully make a trade of, quite a substantial amount when we go to $8.50. If we go higher, awesome. I'll still have XRP to capture those gains and to capture profit. But I'm playing for the worst case scenario for those who are trading XRP with leverage. So primarily my channel is geared towards people who are actively trading on the weekly or on the daily, and they're trading with a substantial amount of leverage. I have a trading group that's free over on X, and that's the way that I gear my analysis. So when I give you these targets, it's really just conservative. And it's just the thoughts and views on any given day. So take that for what it's worth. I could be wrong. In fact, I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope we go higher than $8.50. But right now, I've got to look at this current intermediate count and say, okay, based on what I'm seeing on the charts, what's most likely? What is currently most likely? And could that change by tomorrow? Well, of course it could. And I would come on here and tell you something different. So if I'm bullish, there's going to be good reason for me to be bullish. If I'm having a more conservative approach currently on the market, it's because there's reasoning for that. And so I've shared with you my reasoning, and you're free to disagree. But let's just keep the comments civil. I mean, if you get uncivil, I'm just going to delete them because that's just, just stupid. So, don't let me get in your feels. Don't let me get in your emotions. If I'm doing that, you're not going to be an effective trader anyway. So learn, why that's making you feel the way that you feel and react accordingly. Try to have as neutral of a view on the market as you possibly can. So, could the count be wrong here? And could this have just been wave one? Well, I've said before that that's possible. What I don't like right now, what I'm seeing on the action, on the waves, is that if this was really a mega wave 3 that was going to give us market expansion to come up to hit at least $11 to $12 before any kind of intermediate pullback, well, I'm not seeing that right now. And with the weekly close yesterday evening, I'm still not seeing it. We closed that weekly candle with a good little push here on the bottom of the candle. We have a good wick here on the downside, which shows buyer strength coming back into the market before the weekly close. But now look, we're going to come back and hopefully hold internal here to this candle. Hopefully don't make a new weekly low. Hopefully we just come back here to retest 3 and then we're off. But yeah, that's what we're currently looking at. So what again? You take what the market gives you. So maybe these waves are playing out longer. Again, my concern with that is historically, notice what I just said, historically, and I'm not going to take the time because it would just make the video too long, but you come back and you measure the impulsive macro moves for XRP. I mean, come back here to 2017 and measure how long it took for that move to happen, and then how long it took for that move to happen. And for crying out loud, we just got done doing this. So either we're about to really rip, or we're going to continue to track slow here. tracking slow here doesn't encourage me that that's a true wave 3. Wave 3s are impulsive. They hit you in the face. They gag your throat. Before you even have time to blink, that thing's done 300%. That's the point, is that it's a time and price question. And so that's what I'm going to stick by in my views to you guys. So again, hopefully this is all part of an education where you're learning. If you already know more than me, then great. I mean, there's really no reason for you to watch this then. Again, I'm just coming on here sharing with you my views because a lot of people do get value out of it and it helps them. And that's what I'm trying to offer. Coming back in here, I would hope to see XRP hold $3 again. Maybe we hold around 310. It's just hard to say. This is a correction. So I believe it's an ABC correction. So we're probably putting in our final C leg. Hopefully that stays internal above $3 and we don't make a new low here. If we make a new low here, it's fine. The world's not burning. We'll live, but we want to hold 285. If we start coming lower than 285, we've just given up the entire momentum of all of this. You see this? Here, let me draw you a pretty picture. Let me draw you a curve. The curves are always fun. This is what we're giving up. Yep. That right there. So you've just given that up. If you start coming back down into this area, then what was all of this work for, you know? So 285 needs to hold. Those are my thoughts. You know, what is Bitcoin doing? I guess that's always the question. What is BitCrap doing? We just love BitCrap. Hopefully BitCrap is holding here and maybe we're going to get a hold. Again, I guess it could come down here and mess around with 118 again, 117.5. But, you know, Bitcoin is looking a lot stronger than XRP is. You know, here's where Bitcoin is currently trading. So the good news is we have room to go on XRP to catch up with Bitcoin. So it's just a matter of timing it right. I mean, if you're in spot, you don't have anything to worry about. And, spot holders, spot investors, kudos to you. All you're doing is just sitting back biding your time, which is great. If you're trading this, then, an entry down here around 305, 302 is probably a good risk to reward because of where Bitcoin's still currently holding. So those are some thoughts on my views as we start the new week. Hopefully this is the final correction before we start some impulsive price action. We really need a green candle this week. We need daily candles. I mean, the last couple of daily candles were encouraging. We see this buy volume coming in here with these wicks. And, what's funny is we had a good solid daily close yesterday and now we're getting this. So probably corrective. We hit this value gap here, right in this area. So we're coming back down and hopefully we'll hold internal. If we don't hold internal, then, 285. That's all that's all we can do. So those are my thoughts on XRP. I'll try to look at some of the other tokens here today as well. I know there's a request in for Stronghold and a couple of others. So we'll try to take a look at those. Everybody have a great week, and I'll be on here daily giving you my daily updates as the data unfolds. And man, I hope I can get on here in a couple of days and be uber bullish with you. But I'm only going to tell you that if I think the data is showing that. Because at the end of the day, you need to be a cold calculating statistician if you're going to make profit in this market. All right, everybody have a great day.